Hi, Conrad White here with episode 24 of Success Council. Today, we're going to begin looking at free market solutions to institutions that most people think we need governments for. We are going to start with the civil justice system and contract law. Many people think one important function of the state is to have the final say when two citizens have a disagreement. Imagine the instance where I own a hardware store and I order $5,000 worth of stock from the wholesaler. I send him the money and he never sends me the stock. What am I to do without the state court system to help enforce my contract? Well, to start with, let's examine exactly how well the government-run solution works. The system is so complicated that trying to navigate through all of the legalese, bureaucracy, and time-consuming court appearances, it is probably beyond the reach of the normal man and certainly is beyond my reach. So I would have to go to a lawyer, at which point the lawyer would likely inform me that it will take $20,000 in upfront legal fees and around 12 to 24 months to get a judgment, at which point I would have an 80% chance of winning. This is because there are a never-ending list of loopholes and legal hurdles that you have to jump. 40% chance of winning my court costs and legal costs, and 40% chance of actually receiving a dime, because the person may well be legally bankrupt or have little to no assets in their name by then, at which point I would probably walk away and think it is not worth it. For all intents and purposes, justice is out of reach of the poor or uneducated man in the current system. But let's say I am really angry about this injustice, and I have skills and time to spend the hundreds of hours required to see this through. Even if I win and successfully make a claim, I cannot recover the cost of my time, which would be considerable because of the lengthy and inefficient process. These stats might vary slightly from country to country, but no matter where you are in the world, you will likely receive a very similar answer. Justice is not worth it, even though you have already been paying for it all your life through taxes. And this assumes that both myself and the hardware supplier are in the same jurisdiction. If my hardware store is in Canada and the supplier is in India, forget about it. What is interesting is that big business has already caught on to the fact that government-run judicial systems are terrible. When there is big money on the line for multi-million-dollar contracts, often big companies name an independent arbitrator in the contract that will create a binding judgment on both parties. The independent arbitrator business is big business, and reputation is everything. It is their desire to keep the reputation that yields such great results for fairness and justice. Arbitration services used to be quite expensive and for big businesses only, but recently a website appeared called www.judge.me. You can nominate them as arbitrators in your contracts and it costs you nothing. Here is a part of their promo video.
Well, fortunately, there's a simple win-win solution that protects and serves the interest of all parties involved. Introducing JudgeMe, a small claims court for the internet. Now forget all those lawyers, litigation, and red tape. JudgeMe's email arbitration service offers a convenient, speedy solution that's legally binding in 146 countries. At a fair, flat rate of $299, parties can easily resolve disputes within days. JudgeMe is based on fairness, and not legal mumbo-jumbo and loopholes. Well, as it turns out, everything goes wonderfully for these four. But just in case, they all had real peace of mind knowing that their respective contracts included JudgeMe's arbitration service. JudgeMe. Fast, fair, affordable justice for all.
Once Judge.me gives a ruling, their website reveals 96% of the arbitration awards are honored, meaning the losing party makes a payment or delivers goods or services to the prevailing party as ordered by the arbitrator within the set time limits, most commonly 30 days. However, in the 4% of awards that are not honored, the prevailing party must seek to enforce the award by asking a court where the losing party has assets to turn the arbitration award into a court judgment. At which point, the sheriff will go and seize enough assets to pay the judgment owed. There are many great features of using Judge.me, but the three I like the best are: it is not based on silly wordsmithing or loopholes from even sillier politicians trying to justify their existence by making more and more laws each year. It is based on common law and fairness. Because there are no loopholes to exploit and no legalese to navigate. Representing yourself is easy and there is no benefit to hiring a lawyer. Speed. Arbitrations are handled via email. There are no delays and no travel time, just swift justice. It solves the globalization problem. If two parties from different nations agree to arbitrate, the arbitration is held and one party wins. That judgment is enforceable in 146 different countries. Now, just a word of warning. Oftentimes, arbitration decisions are overruled by courts. However, Judge.me has not had this problem. They report so far we have never had a court annul or vacate one of our arbitration awards. Once again, we see the power of freedom. Hopefully, at some point in the next decade or two, the government-run judicial system all over the world will largely be ignored by parties disputing their contracts. This should massively reduce taxes and bureaucracy, creating a streamlined, efficient, and fair arbitration system so everybody, no matter how poor, can seek justice. I know I will be putting a Judge.me arbitration clause in all of my contracts from now on. In our next episode, we'll look at what the free market has come up with to supersede the government-controlled fiat money system. This is especially timely as the US dollar, the euro, and the Japanese yen, to name just a few, are on its knees and looks like it could collapse very soon. We think precious metals and a new phenomenon, Bitcoin, are the most significant players to watch. See you then.